It happened earlier this week, or maybe late last week. Biggie said, just in general conversation, well, my girlfriend says such and such.
Just said it very,
He dropped that bomb.
Just very matter of fact.
And I said, slam on the brakes. There's a lady friend in my dear friend's life, which seems like that's something you would have told me as best friends.
No.
No, Kelly and I heard her the same way on the streets.
That hurts. That cuts me.
Say it to our face. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to have to hear it out there, baby.
No,
that's right.
I wouldn't tell you guys anything.
So a moment ago, he said that the girlfriend was staying over, and she's on call. Of course, I don't know her job.
We know zero.
We know zero.
But we know her name.
She's on call. I don't either. And I won't press. I won't press.
But I won't say it doesn't hurt a touch.
Of course, hurts my heart a little bit because we're best friends.
Sure, you ruin everything.
Okay, we're accountability buddies.
Sort of.
And I was sitting here jotting notes, working diligently, keeping my edge.
Yeah.
All right.
Your non-medicated edge.
Non-medicated edge.
I never knew you had an edge till today. Since you said it.
I got an edge. I got an edge.
He'll tell you. He's got an edge.
I got to keep that edge.
Oh, there's edge, Daddy.
Okay. Edge.
Right.
That's what they call me, the edge.
Okay.
So.
I think that's been taken by the fella.
That's right. Crap.
You better learn to play the guitar.
Okay, so Biggie says, so last night her phone goes off because she's on call right before 3 in the morning, and I'm wide awake. And I look up from my notes and say, you should have just come on into work and done some extra work.
Edge.
Edge. That's what the edge is all about.
You just got edged.
Mm-hmm. That's sharp. That's
Those
a
are the
sharp
comments
edge.
I count on.
That's right.
Yeah.
What would medicated Kelly have said?
Oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't you hate that when you can't go back to sleep? I put on some soft music sometimes.
What can I do for you?
Or read a book, my favorite book,
just
Treasure Island.
No. Edge. You
Edge.
should have come in.
Come into
You should have
work.
gotten up and come into work and done something you haven't been able to get to. But then Biggie said the nicest thing he's ever said to me, which, well, your girlfriend,
Want to recreate the
your
moment?
lady friend
Yeah,
says,
she works with somebody who apparently did play pickleball with you at one point, but said now you're in the upper echelon. And
oh, I've outgrown
you've
him.
outgrown. Yeah.
That's the most beautiful thing you've ever
You
seen.
want to take back that little 3 a.m.
I'm
crack?
taking that back.
You're now
Withdrawal?
in like the you're now in the group that like the good group. Like when that group shows up, everyone else leaves. Like, oh,
That must be your old Tuesday night group
Yeah.
that you pooped on.
Sounds like it.
The
Yeah.
T-birds are here.
Sounds like it.
like when they see you guys coming, they're like, "Well, let them have the courts." And now
They
they
just
are.
leave.
You're the Hell's Angels of pickleball.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Get out of my way.
Move.
That's right.
This court is ours.
That's right.
I was like, "Are you sure?"
Oh, yeah.
I was like, because he's never in the popular group. He's like, oh yeah, he says that when they show up, everyone else is like,
But he's in the douchey
time.
group.
That's it.
We don't want any trouble.
Okay, man. Okay. Hey, cool it, man. Cool it. We're leaving.
Court's yours. Court's yours.
Leaving.
The bullies that come in there and just chase everybody. Scram, losers. And they're out of there.
Okay, Butch.
That is the most beautiful thing you've ever said to me. I want you to sleep as long as you'd like. That's what I'm saying to you.
During the show.
Yes. Well, we can't help that. That's just what's done. So, the good, the bad, the ugly today. Some good stories, bad and ugly, and quite a few here today. First of all, a couple of heroes here. In fact, hundreds of heroes in Nova Scotia. 16 dolphins were stranded in Digby, Canada, up on the beach, and they don't know how they got there, how the dolphins wound up on the actual shore in the sand and couldn't get back into the water, of course, until 16 individuals heard about it, 100 individuals heard about it and raced to the beach and started saving these animals along with the fire department, and then got them all back into the ocean.
Canada.
In Canada. So that's another thing. I didn't know there were dolphins up that far north.
I mean, I don't. There's different kinds of dolphins, I guess. I
Yeah.
thought those bottlenose ones stick down around,
They're the happy face.
That's what I was
down
thinking.
there around Biscayne Bay.
They said the effort that these people went to, it took hours and hours. They kept on, bathing them in water, and then they got them back into the water. Some couldn't even, it was very difficult to move them. They would hook them up to devices to try to get them into the water. And finally...
They didn't try dynamite?
They did not. They did not.
That's option
No.
C or D
That's the U.S.
That was
Pacific
the laugh.
Northwest option.
from the 1960s.
The fire department posted, we're happy to report all 16 dolphins were eventually ushered back into the water. Here's one of the heroes.
Seeing how everybody came together, it was truly amazing for these beautiful creatures who, if it wasn't for everybody, it may not have ended so well for them. I believe I was in the right place at the right time.
If you hear that and you can get there, try and save some dolphins, would you drive down there and try to do it? That's a creature that Biggie always says, when we see dolphins leaping out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
White people lose their minds.
It's like the ultimate high.
The dolphin is like the king of that animal. I mean, it's like a horse.
Yeah.
They have that sort of, and dogs. I mean, they have that sort of relationship with humans.
Agreed.
If you wanted to rob people on a beach, go to the water's edge and yell, dolphin. And then when they all run,
With
you
their
have
phones.
you have your pick of coolers,
whatever.
Anything you want back there. Bluetooth speakers,
Wallets and
lunches.
shoes.
Yeah.
What else? There's some other animal too. It's dolphins and something, and maybe it is just dog. Deer, we shoot those.
Yeah. Whales too, but you don't see whales as much. You got to go whale watching. But
dolphins,
Yeah,
now,
dolphins.
we love that.
And I'd hate to be the Debbie Downer of the group, but for what I've read about animals, and it's always the whales that beach themselves. One, scientists still don't know why they do it.
Yeah,
Either
how?
they're chasing food, or two, sometimes they're sick, and sometimes they're whatever it is that they use to navigate is impaired, and sometimes they're going to die anyway.
Wouldn't you think though, since it's 16 of them, they all got chasing to something? You wouldn't think they'd all be
Could
sick.
be. I mean, they could have been chasing some smaller fish, and then the tide went out.
You don't
Maybe
think they
that's
were
how they got
part
there.
of some dolphin cult, and they all decided to
all at once.
follow me.
Or they were trying to invade Nova Scotia.
They drank the plastic,
Maybe.
the Kool-Aid,
Yes. Can't.
or they want to end it.
Generally have bad news. The first wave didn't make it. Any survivors? Yeah, a few of them got pushed back in.
Clearly, we can't walk like the humans.
We've taken Nova Scotia.
You can have it.
Another piece of good news here. A couple of twin brothers, Henry and Will Wade, 30 years old, challenged themselves to do something. One of them, they're twins, they're 30. One of them had their house burned down 6 months ago and said he really went through a terrible time with PTSD after that, had some mental issues.
I'll bet.
So he wanted to raise money for the group that helped him and also other mental health facilities. So he and his brothers, who are avid runners, decided to do 7 marathons in 7 days, and they both just completed those marathons. They crossed the finish line in the New York City Marathon to finish it, which was, what, a week ago? Is that when?
This is past Sunday,
Past
right?
Sunday, right. So that was the 7th out of 7, and they said they were thrilled to do it, and the worst days were days 4 and 5, right in the middle. I guess you see the light at the end of the tunnel for 6 and 7. These are the
We
twins.
thought, what would be amazing? Let's do something pretty crazy and a bit ridiculous to some, and try and raise as much awareness around mental health and suicide prevention as possible. And our whole idea was, let's take on 7 marathons in 7 days and talk about and be really open about absolutely everything and what we're doing this for. And here we are today saying we've done it, and we've raised so much awareness for it.
From London, and they did the marathons mostly in England, but they came over for the New York City Marathon.
Without missing a day?
Without
How do you
missing
do
a
that?
day, yes, without missing. They did the first few in England, they did the last few in the United States, but they did not miss a day. They made it the entire time.
Well,
that's
I mean,
impressive.
I'm no runner, as you all know. But there aren't sanctioned marathons every day, not on a Tuesday.
How would he do that? How would
I mean, now they could run 26 miles.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
do
what they
that.
did. Maybe it wasn't a sanctioned marathon that they did. That's a good point. They don't have them on Tuesdays.
Because we met, Kelly, what was it, 10, 15 years ago? We met a guy. What did he run?
Yeah.
50 in a row?
50 in a row?
One in every state every day.
Yeah.
For 50 days. And he was in incredible shape.
I've never seen anything like it.
He came in here on the day he did it here.
remember, yeah.
It was incredible.
Slightly fit.
Slightly.
But I mean, these aren't, but he was just running, he just mark off 26 miles.
I bet that's what they
around
did.
that.
I bet that's how they did it. Wouldn't you think?
It's the only way to
But
do
they
it.
were down. They were good runners. They were at like 3.5 hour marathons, which are incredible paces. So I bet they ran one very early in the morning in England, then got their flight and came over or whatever.
Took a nap and then did
For the next day.
Yeah.
You're just eating and sleeping and running.
Do you remember the guy that when we used to have host a 5K, we had hosted a couple around town. Remember the guy that would run
Yeah.
from like one city to our 5K, win the 5K, and run home?
Yeah, I do remember that. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That guy was unreal. I just hosted a 5K probably 6 months ago, and a guy ran the course before it started and then went ahead and won the race. I mean, he did the 5K already. He's like, good course. we're like, we haven't started yet. He's like, I know, just warming up. And then they did the 5. Incredible. These guys had very swollen feet. By the end of it, that was their worst problem, was swollen feet. And the guy who had his house burned down said that getting outside and running was what helped him with his PTSD, with his mental.
That as much as my antidepressants.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Outside, running, exercise. That's your antidepressant. You don't need a pill. You don't need a pill, right? Right?
You're off your meds.
Okay. Bad story. Dave, you're a Jeopardy fan. Did you see Jeopardy on Tuesday when Ken Jennings cursed?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, it just kind of went silent for a second. I don't think they beeped it.
Well, did you? This is what we have. I don't know if this is just the raw. I was going to ask you if they.
They may have done it in post, but yeah, it's the Tournament of Champions is getting ready to start. They did this. They took the 2 females and the male, that Matt Amodio, and then the other 2, the girl from Canada and Amy Schneider. And the 3 of them had a practice round because they said all these other quarterfinalists had a chance to play. So we're going to give these guys a practice round. It's going to be fun. They're not playing for money.
Oh, it's just practice.
It's just so that they could get behind.
And this was televised.
Yeah, this was on Tuesday night.
Well, and I was wondering why, because they treat it so nonchalantly. Here's what happened: the category, all the answers in the category, were numbers. It was like, what is 43 or what is 38? And Jennings is saying, well, these numbers have some significance, all these numbers, and then he started listening. Well, one of the questions hadn't been answered yet. It was still one was covered up. It hadn't been. So he's giving away an answer accidentally.
Normally, the human body contains this number of chromosomal pairs. Amy.
What is 23?
That's correct. I don't know if you noticed, but the numbers in that category, 40, 23, 38, and 74, which is larger than all of them.
No.
Oh,
So he knows now. Oh, one has not been uncovered yet. So he gave it away. And he goes,
yeah,
the S word.
we'll just pretend. Amy, select again.
I'll do number, please, for 200.
Let's see if you know this one. Matthew 4 says Jesus fasted for this many days and nights in the wilderness, and he was hungry after. Well, yeah. Matt.
What's 40?
That's correct. Now, I suspect you didn't notice this.
And there's a significance to the numbers, and he's explaining it there.
Yeah, he threw his card down and said the S word.
I know. Now,
I've never seen a loosey-goosey Jeopardy.
I know.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was kind of fun.
Since they didn't count for anything. It was
Yeah, it
just
didn't
practice.
count for anything.
That Amy Schneiderman, that's the transgender. I'm so ashamed to admit this, but Dave said, by the way, he is ahead of me. I used to watch it, and I would be behind by a month. And David said they have the first transgender Jeopardy champion on now, as he was watching current day. So we'd get to each night, and I'd look at the contestants and go,
that one. And you would show the picture to Dave, and Dave would say,
Nope.
no.
You missed.
No, that's not. No. It took a long
that one.
No.
No.
So they're in the hard shows now. They're starting to compete.
Okay.
This is a real thing?
Okay.
Real thing.
He can't. I think in a real game, they would have stopped and edited and probably come up with a different clue. Don't you think?
I would think so,
Yeah,
but they didn't. It was still, like Demm said, it's loosey goosey.
That had to
First
be.
guy that clicked, he rang the bell and he just said, "I just wanted to say hey to you, Ken, and I've really missed you." And he didn't even answer the question.
Okay. It had to be loosey-goosey, or I think
Terribly
they would have done
goosey.
something. Ozzy Osbourne is saying, I remember he said he was fed up with America. Sharon was fed up with America, so they're moving back to England. Now Ozzy says, I don't know. I'm pretty happy.
He's pulling the Chris Kelly.
Yeah.
He's changing his mind at the last minute.
Yes.
They're building their dream home in London, in England. And he says, I like it here.
America, man.
Now it's time to stay here. He's like, I basically become an American. Sharon says, no, we came here in the 70s.
Spent all that money on this state. We're living in this state.
That's right.
That's what she said.
That's right. And she said, we came here in the 70s and America was great. Cutting edge music scene, everybody.
Cocaine. The best cocaine in the world. Washing up on the beaches.
And she's not wrong.
Yeah, we were great.
She says, all changed now. Not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
She said the 70s, freewheeling, man. Loved
Yeah.
it. I loved it. And she wants back in England. Ozzy says, I'm settled, man. I'm right here. This is my place.
Yeah.
They're having
What about my Ralph's card, man?
They're having a internal debate now.
Yes.
Should we go or should we not? He said, I'm now basically an American. I don't want to go back to England.
Where do their kids live? Because I'm assuming they're grandparents, right?
Oh, I don't know.
The kids
Sure
live
thing.
in California.
His son does. What does his son do? He does something important.
They do a show together some, and he's kind of become a TV host of various shows. One with Ozzy, they travel the country together.
But I mean, if you live in obviously they can travel way more easily than we can. But do you want to be 6,000 miles from your grandkids?
No, I'm with you. And I'm just reading here. Ozzy says, "Man, I've had a change of heart." Sharon says, "Well, change it back. We're gone." That's literally. She said,
you said it.
We're going. Yeah, we mentioned it a while back that they were going to go, and y'all said, and this may not ever happen because it's a while out. And
the headline broke. The headline was Ozzy said he was fed up with the gun violence,
right,
in the U.S.
And that has. Apparently he's changed his mind on that. But she says the big cities are too violent, and it's not in the 70s. And it says all love in the 70s, according to Sharon. But they may or may not move
behind their gated house.
Right? Yeah, really. How much violence is there? Speaking of England now, ugly story here. Dave, I know you would be interested in this. We have the audio of it. King Charles and Camilla were greeting people on the streets when someone threw an egg at him.
No.
Yes, we have the audio. And you'll hear boos. They're booing the egg thrower. I heard the eggs go by. Now they're getting the guy to the ground.
Are they in England?
Yes, they are in England. Egg thrower on ground and in cuffs immediately. Guys, people were yelling, "God save the king," after
they do that.
Egg was thrown. The egg did not hit Charles. The egg, let me see if it hit Camilla.
She ate it.
Actually, it was cool. She caught it in her mouth. Didn't break either.
Look at this, love.
What a trick.
Yeah.
Are we referring to her as the queen?
Everything I always see printed is queen consort.
Yes. That's
they never print it out as queen.
Right.
The word consort, that's my wife said
that means
she
you're married to.
But that was a big deal. Queen Elizabeth said we want her to be called the queen consort before she died. And so that's a big deal that she got that.
We call her the QC?
Yeah.
You can call it QC if you know her.
You watching The Crown yet?
No, I hadn't started yet, but I'm on edge. I'm fixing to.
A-Train says good season. She started it.
Yeah, it's going to be, the weather's going to get colder next week, and I think that's when I'll hunker down
and get in.
Get down with the Brits.
I don't blame you. I like that.